Hello, and welcome to a brief overview on how to score North American sheep using Boone & Crockett Club scoring procedures. My name is Kyle Lair. I'm the Assistant Director of Big Game Records here at the Boone & Crockett Club, and I'm just going to go over this real quick for you. So when measuring sheep, the first thing you want to do is get the length of horn measurements. When getting the length of horn measurements, you want to stay on top of the ridge, on top of the horn. It may be near the edge of it. Sometimes it's in the middle. An easy way that I use to help find is kind of stand behind the horn, look down the top, and it should become pretty obvious where that is. So I've already got this mocked up here. I've found the ridge. I've laid the tape measure down. I've run it down the length of the horn. Some of the basic tools you'll need to measure a sheep are a lip end tape measure, ring end tape measure, a card of some sort, credit card, Costco card, whatever, pen, pencil, score chart, masking tape, folding carpenter's ruler, and a level, which is holding the horns up at the moment. So I've got my lip end tape measure clipped to the lowest bottom point of the horn, and I just run that along that ridge for the whole length of the horn. Once I get to the end of the horn, I use my card and I create a perpendicular angle, a 90-degree angle at the end of the horn, using the grain of the horn as a reference point for my perpendicular, my 90-degree angle. I get that, let's say this one's 36 inches just for instructional purposes. Once you've got the longer horn, you then divide that longer horn by 4 to get your quarter locations. Our quarter locations are always based off the longer horn. You wouldn't do 36-inch quarter locations on this horn. Let's say this one was 34. You wouldn't then use 34 inches on this horn. It's the same quarter locations for both horn. The left and the right horn are the animal's left and the right, not your left and the right looking right at it. So this horn's 36 inches. It's our longer horn. Our quarter locations would then be 9, 18, and 27 inches. It's helpful to have 2 of these tape measures so you can tape them on both horns. That way you don't have to lay a strip of masking tape down, measure this horn, then come over here, lay a strip of masking tape down and measure this horn. I have a masking tape on this horn to demonstrate that. So I've laid it out along that ridge that the tape measure would run along, and I made my marks on the masking tape where my quarter locations would be. So we've determined that our quarter locations are 9, 18, and 27. We then take our ring end tape measure, find 9 inches. We straddle the 9-inch line with our tape measure and pull tight. We don't push in or anything like that. We just pull the tape measure tight and read that measurement. If it falls on the 16th inch or higher, we round up. If it falls anywhere between the lower inch and the 16th, we round down. We continue that process for all 4 circumference measurements. If there's a chunk of horn missing, we pull tight. We don't try to figure out where that horn would have been if that piece was there. Once we've gotten those 4 measurements, we record them on the score chart. The other circumference measurement is circumference of base. This is one of the biggest areas where we see the difference between camp measurements and official measurements. One thing to keep in mind when measuring the circumference of base, it is the lowest point of continuous horn. So again, same process, wrap the tape measure around. There will be horn below on the front and the back. Again, the lowest point of continuous horn. And some people like to wrap around and try to follow the contour of that horn. And that's where we see the biggest difference between camp measurements and official measurements. It's simply the lowest point of continuous horn. Again, taking our ring end tape measure, wrapping it around at that point, pulling it tight, making sure we're staying perpendicular to the axis of the horn, and reading that measurement. There's grain in the horn that can help you with that perpendicular, but Once we've gotten those measurements, enter them on the score chart. We have two other measurements. While they don't factor into the score, they do help us give a better idea of what the horns look like. They are the tip-to-tip and greatest spread. The tip-to-tip is simply the center of the tip of one horn to the center of the tip of the other. Using our folding carpenter's ruler, we lay it across, get that measurement. If the horns are like this, we'd move them either way. When they're flared out like this, you may need to use some type of straight edge card to get that center and just measure across. The next measurement is the greatest spread. It helps if they're skull capped like this because you can lay one edge against the wall, use your level to get plumb on the other edge, and then run your folding carpenter's ruler across. Keeping in mind that this is a parallel and perpendicular measurement, so you want to form 90-degree angles here and make sure your tape measure is level, not kinked like that. You'll also notice on our score chart that there is no deductions left to right for length of horn. That's because often on mature rams, they will have broomed off the end of their horn so they can see, and so we don't deduct for that. Once you've added and subtracted everything and you find yourself close to our minimums, we'd invite you to visit our new website, boone-crockett.org, and find an official measure near your location. If there doesn't happen to be one near you, we'd invite you to fill out official measures application. We're always looking to fill gaps in our coverage. So thank you for watching, taking the time, and please check out our booth in the exhibit hall under Wildlife Agencies and Conservation Partners.